Hi everyone. My name is Faith and I work at the Career Service as a graduate support intern. Welcome to today's session about working in the UK for international students, which I'll be moderating. Today, I'm joined by two lovely alumni who'll be sharing their career journeys and answering any questions that you may have. So if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box, which should be at the top of the screen. And if you see a question that you'd like particularly to get answered, please make sure you like it so that we know what sort of questions to prioritize. So before we start into the main bit of the session, I'd like to speak about the Graduate Outcome Survey. This is basically a survey that helps to support future university students. So the survey would ask you what you've been up to since graduating and to what extent your degree has helped you along the way. Your honest response will not only help your university evaluate and make changes to our courses, but it will also allow current and future students to gain an insight into career destinations. So to help the future of our university, please look through your inbox from the email that's shown in the PowerPoint slide and follow the link to complete the survey. It will take you less than 10 minutes to complete. So without further ado, let's get into the main bit of the session, which is what we're all here for. We've got our panelists today, Echo and Gaurav, who've kindly offered to share their time with us today and speak a bit about their career journeys and how they've gotten to where they are. So I'll now hand over to Gaurav to introduce himself.
Hi everyone, myself Gaurav Kumar. I'm from India, and as you can see, I did my master's from University of Leeds. Currently, I'm working as Power Apps developer at Pro Global, and happy to be here. Looking forward to the event. Thanks.
Okay, thanks Gaurav for that intro. Next, I'll give Echo a chance to introduce herself.
Thank you, everyone. So my name is Echo Yin. I originally come from China. I graduated from University of Leeds in 2013 from the master degree in international communication. And currently, I've been working in the UK for nearly a decade. Currently, I work in Amazon for handling their global digital responsibilities. Thank you.
Okay, thanks both for your introductions. So I'd like to circle back to Gaurav and let him speak about his career journey a bit.
Yeah, thanks, Faith. Yes, so starting back to the time when I started my master's here in 2022. So when I joined University of Leeds, I already had around 8 years of experience. So my goal here was to do a career switch. Basically, I wanted to move to technology roles. Earlier, I had done 3 years as an electrical engineer, then 5 years as a banker. But I realized that I want to go into technology, and thought to do a formal education before just taking up jobs directly. So that's why I thought of doing masters here in business analytics and decision sciences. Yeah, like coming to new country, and then UK has its own system of academic assessment and all those, which are quite very different from what we have in India. So like as we progress, the master is a 1 year course, which is doesn't leave you with much time to do your master's as well as do the job hunting both together. So you like the first semester is mostly spent in understanding what the academic system is, how it works, and the system of assessment and all those things. Plus, just during that same year, just in the same time, ChatGPT was also launched to the public for the first time, and then we were like all of us were using ChatGPT. Then its replies were sometimes contradictory to what we have in our course material. All those things were going on. By the time you understand what's going on here, and you won't know you are just into the second semester immediately. So by that time, started looking at the jobs, and then started applying for the jobs. Uh, Again, the market in UK is slightly different. It works in a different way. In India, the two jobs which I had done, they were mostly like government jobs, and they don't rely on CVs. So this was my first experience of even CVs as well. So, like throughout your career journey, whichever stage you are, like if you see my stage, I have never seen CVs or never prepared CV. Uh, Career service will always come to help. They have lots of tools and services which will help you. So started with this first was CV making. So they have a CV checker tool online, which is very useful. And I know when I start the first CV which I put in there, it was like 30% good, but slowly and slowly refined my CV, reached something 80%, 85, 90% there. And by the time it was, I think already a couple of months by the time I had a good CV, which I thought is a good one. Then we hear that companies are using AI or automated tools to sift candidate CV because at that time ChatGPT was there. Then you have to understand how to make your CV to fit to the job description and all those things. Again, Career Service has a tool which can tell you the match between your CV and the job description if you post both of them on that portal. So that will again come to your rescue. So then, meanwhile, I was all these things I was doing. I was also applying for jobs and like everywhere and everything, like whether it is graduate roles, non-graduate roles, whatever it may be, applying everywhere. So that I think was taking a lot of time also and energy also applying everywhere. Again, then those things were not yielding results. I would give all their online assessment tests, their recorded interviews. I mean, they have all those steps to go through, but they were not yielding results. Then again, I went back to career service, booked an appointment to understand what's going on, why things are not working. And uh, the advisor gave me simple tip: focus on quality, not quantity. And if I remember correctly, it was Pablo. I don't know if he's still here or not, there or not. So, and I'm really sure if someone had given me this advice, even in the first semester, I would not have believed it. But that's like the hard way of understanding how to navigate the UK job market. So, focused on quality rather than the quantity. So, then changed few of the things in my approach to job hunting. Uh, first thing which I did was I just avoided all the big companies. So PwC, EY, or whatever big names you know, because they obviously they are big, they are known. So most of the people, most of the candidates will apply there. They will have a lot of applicants. Focus my attention to other um, medium-sized companies, which I think um, have relatively lesser competition. And given my circumstances, this thing I think everyone has to decide based upon their own circumstances. Because I was doing a career switch, I didn't have a experience in the same line that I can directly apply to senior roles. And I didn't feel that graduate roles were for me because I had already done two graduate roles myself in India. So I didn't want to go that way. So based upon my circumstances, I thought better to target medium enterprises where there is less competition, I mean less number of applicants. And but like all these things come from like just a practical reality, means which you think uh, medium enterprises, they are relatively flexible in adjusting their HR policies, right? If you have big companies, their policies are set up at the top level and they are like set in stone by the senior people, and means there is very less chance of them doing adjustments based on specific candidates. So focused on medium enterprises. There I got some success and gave few couple of interviews also there. So that was positive. Uh, but didn't land a job at that stage. The next thing which I did was focused on networking. So means this is one thing which I would always hear when I just entered university and all the events that networking plays a good role. And the thing is, how it plays a good role, what works, what doesn't work, is very difficult to put in a framework. I started with networking, also landed with few interviews, and the job which I'm currently doing is I got that through networking only. So again, like as a student of entering the university the first year or the first couple of months, means if anyone would have told me that networking is the key to go focus there, means I would have just ignored that advice. I mean, I think I don't know whether this is just how the like freshers or like the students think that at that time. But networking does work. The only difficult thing is how it works and how to proceed. There is no fixed way of approaching networking, but it does work. Means I was like a strongly critical of this, but now I have gone through that path, so I can say it works. And also the job which I've got, that was not advertised publicly, so that is also something which you will hear a lot in your student life, that some jobs don't even come to the job portals. So both these things I would never believe when I was a student, but now because it has worked, so there is a hope that those things work, and because I could land those jobs. Yeah, so in nutshell, these were my strategies around navigating the UK job market, trying to stay flexible, take one approach, and if that is not yielding results in a month or 2 months, basically give some time, 2 months or something, be flexible to change your approach, and spend time understanding your own circumstances. Like, what is your circumstance? Are you just a fresher with no experience, or if you have some experience? Because in my masters I had people who had 10, 12 years of experience also. So are you doing a career switch, or are you going in your same line of work? So your understanding your circumstances is crucial. And the golden advice is always focus quality over quantity. That goes without saying. Uh, Thanks, Faith. That would be all.
Okay, thanks, Gara, for sharing your story. And it's funny that you mentioned Pablo. He's still at the career center,
Yeah.
working with us. So I'm pleased. I'm sure he'll be pleased to know, what he said to you stuck with you. Just a reminder to everyone: if you have any questions for Garav in particular, please put them in the Q&A box at the top of your screen, and we'll come back to them at the end of the session. So now I'll hand over to Echo, who'll also share her story with us.
Hello, hi everyone. Thank you, Faith and Garo, for the amazing opening speech of this session. So before I start to sharing my journey in my career in the UK, I'm going to start with a story that happened in University of Leeds that influenced me a lot during this journey. So I was in the international communication. So a lot of our classes are actually about discussing the international situations in different countries. I remember one of the lesson in the class is to discuss the living conditions. So, for example, the question that the professor was asking us is like, how much do you think a person need to earn in different countries to be clarified as well off or living comfortably? At that point, I don't remember too much of the conversation, but there is one discussion that I remember quite clearly. So when the professor says that in the UK it's probably like around 20 to 30K at that time, it was 2012, so a long time ago. When he says that around 30K, at that point I basically shout out in my seat just quietly to myself, and I probably like people around me can hear it. I said, "Oh, 30K within 1 year. That is so unreal for me. I probably will never achieve that." There is one person, one classmate sitting in front of me, and she heard what I'm talking about, and so she turned her head over to me and saying that, "Never say that to yourself." And this moment followed me so long in my career and in my life that every time when I look back in the University of Leeds, I can think of that situation. It gave me a kind of like thought that never underestimate yourself. That number might change, including like in order to get indefinite leave to remain in the UK. Sometimes it's 35K, sometimes it's 50K, sometimes it's 100K. In order to achieve like 3 years or 5 years or 10 years route in the UK, that number will always change. But never judge yourself and lose your confidence based on your current situation to judge your future. That's my takeaway from that class in University of Leeds, and that influenced me a lot. So after this little story, I would like to share my journey in the UK. So let's start with the visa situation. When I joined University of Leeds, it was 2012. So I graduated at 2013. At that time, it was the first year that the UK canceled the postgraduate visa, which means that if I want to stay in the UK for working, then I have to switch from the student visa directly into the tier 2 visa. So at that time, I switched from like student visa to tier 2 high skilled visa. And I changed my skilled visa 3 times until I get my indefinite leave to remain within 5 years. And then after I get my indefinite leave to remain, I go to Spain to work in Spain for nearly 3 years under a high skilled visa in Spain as well. And then recently in 2024, I come back to the UK to work for Amazon. And so I'm currently visa free, but I did have a lot of experience of dealing with different visas in Europe, especially in the UK. I changed my visa like around 3 times. So let's talking about my career journey. So I start with, I would say that quantity rather than quality in the beginning, because I don't have time to transfer from the postgraduate visa PSW to skilled visa. So I have to directly transfer my visa to the working visa. So which means that I don't have a lot of time. That is one of the flag, to be honest, because when you realize that you need to find a job, that is probably kind of late. So I would if I were do it again, I might start a little bit earlier. So I start in July, during my dissertation time. So I start with quantity. So I have the whole list of tier 2 visa. That the companies that can give tier 2 visa. So I apply around like 30 of them each day. So at that point, I get one job landed before my student visa expire. Obviously, it wasn't my dream job, but I stayed in that job around less than a year, and then I switched to my like first marketing like a job in London at that time. So it just led me to my marketing career for nearly 12 years now. So at that point, I was responsible for the social media marketing and events and this kind of like branding marketing in my first marketing job. And I quickly realized that as a non-English speaker, and I didn't grow up in the UK, it might be very hard for me to succeed or to compete with other English speaker or like local people in a very culture nuance and also language heavy, content heavy role. So I want to switch into performance marketing rather than my then current kind of like branding marketing at that point. So I keep looking for this kind of like opportunity, and then I switched to this kind of like role in performance marketing for roles in Top Cashback, in the Heart Group, and also I get my indefinite leave to remain while I was in that group. That was a kind of like a change point for me, and I still quite enjoy this kind of result-driven and not very content-heavy kind of like performance marketing. That's something that I probably will continue to do for a while in my career. So after I get my permanent visa, indefinite leave to remain in the UK, my first thought is I'm done with visa. I don't want to deal with it, because at that time I feel that it is a restriction for me to find a dream job. So I started to have two options. So first of all, I was thinking that I want to have a rest, career break, to do something that I always want to do in the UK, probably travel around and staying in the countryside, hiking or whatever that I enjoy. Or I can just like looking for some roles that is take all the box in my career. And then funny enough that I get my second option first. I get an offer from Spain. And I work for Alibaba for 3 years, and they offer me a kind of like a job that I was always wanting to do. So I continue with my visa journey in Spain. So 3 years later, I come back to the UK, and then I am here now, and I think it is quite a good opportunity for me. So yeah, that's my overall career journey. So we'll be opening for more questions in the details later on. Thank you very much. I will hand over to Grace.
Thanks, Echo, for that. Yeah, very, very inspiring story just to hear how you've come this far after all these years. So basically, I can see that we're having trouble with the Q&A box, and we're sorry for that technical glitch. But if you have any questions, as some of you have been doing, feel free to just put them in the comment section, and we'll try get through as many of them as possible. So I'll get straight into the first question. And I think for this one, I'll ask Gaurav to just answer it. So someone has asked, what's the best way to approach entry level roles that require maybe 2 or 4 years of experience, especially when you've only completed a master's degree straight after your undergrad and only have internship or early career experience? How can candidates effectively position themselves to bridge that experience gap? So I guess, what kind of things did you do to make your application stand out, Gaurav?
Yeah, for entry level roles, like if you're coming straight from undergrad and then finished masters, so you have a little experience, means maybe some internship. So UK has a system called graduate roles, but again, this how that works is that's normally around 2 years of graduate role where they will uh, move you through different departments and locations. But as an international graduate, the only issue is that now I think the graduate visa has been reduced from 2 years to 18 months. So companies might be reluctant to hire like international students for that graduate role. So that can become slightly tricky to navigate. But if you do find something which offers 1 year graduate role, then better to try. But the next thing which I would again tell, since you are just like starting out or without little experience, uh, try to again look for what I did, like look for medium level enterprises where they are more flexible into adjusting their HR policies basically. Uh, so that can help. And yeah, next thing is definitely refer to the career services, because the first and biggest challenge is evidencing your skill set when you are just out of university. So that is very crucial. Um, yeah, I think that would be all from my side. Echo, if you have anything to contribute.
Yes, thank you. So I can chip in with a few of my perspectives. I would say that dream big is the first one. Because in the beginning, I only have 1 year of the experience in China as a journalist. and I was quite new in the UK job market as well. When I apply, I still remember that somebody in my head is still telling me that okay, this company is not related to anything about media, anything about journalism. Why they will hire me? Um, so I have a lot of hesitation at that time, but I applied anyway. I think at that point, what will be helping me is first of all, dream big. Second of all, is to prepare competitor research, their like a company profile, what they do, what is their challenge, and what is their targeted audience, what is the problem, what is the future trend of this industry. So all of this kind of thing, we need to be solid prepared because I remember that I have a few interview invitation from a few very I would say big and well-known companies in the beginning, but I didn't perform well because at that time I didn't know that I need to prepare so solid for interview. So I didn't answer quite well for a few of the interviews. I guess I learned my lesson at that point is that you need to treat your interview really, really solid, and you need to prepare. You need to be intentional, even though you feel that it might not be a perfect role, but you need to be intentionally knowing what you want to get out of this interview to improve yourself, either your speaking skill, your English skill, or your confidence. So I would say that dream big and also be prepared for all the kind of questions that can be hard or can be simple coming with this kind of high profile companies. I would say second of all, I want to talk here is I just come out from a mentor session with my mentor in Amazon, and his name is Fred. He worked in Amazon for 25 years. We discussed a topic about networking recently. And I think his thoughts inspired me a lot. When we say about networking, we usually say that networking externally, which means that you trying to network with the people who are already in a position that you want to be, or with anybody that's in the company that you want to get in. And that is, I don't have much kind of thoughts about that because it's all very resourceful in internet, and probably we can search a lot about this kind of external networking. But what I want to say is about internal networking, which is how do you network with yourself? How do you know what you want, and how do you record what is your efforts along the way, your research, your findings, your learnings, your challenge, and be prepared to share this kind of internal networking journey with your dream role and your dream future as well, so that maybe one day your sharing of your own journey will inspire somebody thinking that okay, what you do, what you are researching, or what you are trying to express yourself is something that they feel amazing, and people might approach you in the near future or in the future. So that's something that I feel that I can take away a lot from my conversation with my mentor. So I would like to sharing this with all of you here as well. So it's not always about external kind of interaction. It's also how do you interact yourself, knowing what you want and make efforts to progress your thoughts and your research as well. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks both for that. And just a reminder to everyone, some of your questions are being answered in the chat box by Mark, who's one of our very lovely advisors at the Career Service. So keep a lookout for that. And for the more specific questions as well, you can book an appointment with one of our careers advisors on My Career and just get a chance to speak to someone one-to-one about your particular question. So moving on to another question. I think both Gaurav and Echo, you've mentioned how you dealt with some challenges, such as having to apply for many roles before you eventually landed onto one. So, how did you deal with kind of like the rejection and lack of motivation that I'm sure came with, having to apply to many roles? Gaurav.
Yeah, so I think basically understand that rejection is part of the process, and don't means this is what I did. Don't tie yourself to a particular role or a job too much. Means obviously dream big. That's definitely the key point. But don't tie yourself to any one particular job or set of companies or set of roles. Keep trying. Keep working on yourself. Prepare well. Try hard. But it depends on like what your goal is. Like as an international student here, one of the goal is to work in UK. Means if working in UK is one of the goal, securing a visa is the goal, right? So keep that goal in mind. Uh, don't be disheartened if you don't get your chosen role. Like Echo said, first role she get wasn't her preference. Uh, just consider it as a part of the process. Like it's just like you said, process of detachment and attachment. Like you first you have to attach to the job, then you have to prepare your CV, refine your CV, adjust it to that, apply it, but then detach yourself from it. Don't worry about the outcome. Move on to the next thing, next role or next job. While in throughout that process, just keep a flexible mindset to change your approach every 2 months or 3 months. Because I started applying like in January. The course ends in September, October. So I started applying in January. So this will starting early will give you some leeway to do a course correction and to project yourself in a better way for the prospective employers. Yeah, that's what I think would how you should handle your rejections. It is inevitable part of the process, I guess. Echo, anything for you to contribute?
Thank you, Garo. I will add a few of my thoughts. I think the first thing coming into my mind is the motivation. So when I make my decision that I think UK is suitable for my career and also for my life, is when I realize that I really enjoy the environment and also countryside in the UK. I I love nature. I'm an introvert. I don't like to socialize a lot. So when I come to the University of Leeds, the first question I ask my professor is, "Do you know where I can walk? And do you know where it's beautiful to walk around here?" And funny enough, my professor at that time gave me a very, very beautiful two places to try, which is Haworth and Hebden Bridge. And I tried both of them. I love the tranquilness and also the quietness and the beauty of the UK countryside. And I still love it. And I'm currently living in the countryside after a few years living in London and Madrid. So I think this is the life that I want. At that point, that I feel this is what I need. This is what I want to plan for my life. So I work my career surrounding around my life rather than the other way around to let your career dominate your life. So I think that is the first thing that is really helpful for me. Every time I met a like rejection or like or some like challenge in the work in the work or job hunting process, I will keep coming back to my initial motivation. That is something that is so strong and make me going forward step by step and also that is motivation part. I think second part is the story that I shared in the very beginning that don't underestimate yourself. You can achieve it. Sometimes if you set your mind to it one way or another, this time or next time. So I would say that helped me a lot. I would say that that is pretty much of most of the things that I want to share, but I just want to add one more point. I still receive a lot of rejections in recent years. So it's a never-ending process because you are rejected for different reasons. It's always remember it's always a two-way process. It's not that you want that job is that job sometimes wants you as well. So if you are rejected, don't always think that is your fault. It sometimes is the company. The company just is not suitable for you and not utilizing your skill in this moment yet. So just don't lose the confidence in yourself. Sometimes it's about suitability rather than capability. So I would say that keep going, and you might achieve it someday. But just make sure that this is what you want in the beginning. That's why I highlighted the motivation in the very beginning. Is this what you want? Is this something that you want to go through? So figure that out, and the rest will figure out themselves. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. Um, I think something else I've seen coming up commonly is around medium enterprises, the hidden job market, and startups. So how to target those, and kind of position yourself to be able to see these jobs that, people are not necessarily seeing. Gara, what do you have to say to that? Because I think you spoke about that specifically.
Yeah, so again, so when I said medium enterprises and when I said job rules which are not on the job boards, uh, so that all comes to the main question of like, obviously, we are here to we are looking for the jobs, but as Echo said, there is no reason to discount your own ambitions. Means there's no place for that. The second thing is understanding your circumstances. So when I say medium enterprises, that was my strategy which worked for me. And when I said jobs roles which was not there, so those were more came from the networking part. So it's about navigating the UK job market. You have to be very clear of your goal or your motivation. So my motivation was that I want to stay in UK, and that was my first motivation. And second motivation was definitely because I have done my master's in analytics, so I want to do a digital role or technical role. So, so keeping your motivation clear, what is your goals? Obviously, you have to achieve all of them. But since your first goal is to stay in UK, so you find out first for the ways you can have a visa, because that's the critical thing which will determine that. Uh, because applying to all the big banks like Berkeley's, PwC, that those things didn't work. That's why I shifted my strategy to medium enterprises, assuming that they are more flexible, which even eventually proved that they are flexible. So for medium enterprises, if you want looking for those jobs, Total Job and Indeed, they are a good one where most of the medium enterprises will definitely advertise their jobs. Plus, in UK, I have found out there is a culture of hiring recruiting companies also. So, like every city or every like there are so many hiring agencies or recruiting companies, and so these medium enterprises they will sometimes approach those hiring firms or recruiting firms, not the bigger ones which are very big, but there are localized recruiting firms also. Means you have to go online and search which are the local ones. I even got a couple of interviews from them also. So that these things can help you find out medium enterprises if that is your uh, strategy to approach medium enterprises. Uh, Next thing is the hidden job market, like job roles which are not on the job boards. Uh, that is always means the case because whenever a company wants to hire somebody, because one thing is to keep in mind is the hiring is a very expensive process. Because first a vacancy is there in the company. When a vacancy is there, on obviously it means there is already uh, they want to fill it because they are losing something, either the revenue or the time or something. So then they have to get approvals from the vertical head, HR head, and so many people. Then job description is prepared and all those things. Then the option available to them is whether to hire, like then they will put out the job description, and if they have to hire a recruiting firm, then again their own charges of hiring that recruiting firm, and then if candidates come through them, then the process of recruiting, first round, second round, and then know how many rounds they want. So it itself takes around time and money of the company as well. So whenever there is so you can understand how long the process is. So even before coming to the job boards, already there are things in motion within the company itself. And if you, again, I say networking is not something which there's a strict framework how it works. But if you happen to know someone, or is someone in your network who is in touch with somebody and they are discussing that these kind of opportunities exist somewhere, or they see this opportunity coming in next few months. So those are the ways where you can get uh, in touch or get exposed to those kind of opportunities. But this comes down to networking part. I think that is again a big part which I can cover if you want. Faith?
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And something else I would add to that, because I'm also an international graduate, is in terms of finding hidden job roles, quote unquote, I think knowing who to follow on LinkedIn is another good thing. So follow recruiters who are recruiting in the industry that you want to work in, because they usually put up job advertisements to say they're looking for a person who, and they list their job specification and everything like that. And most times they will put up the job description on LinkedIn before it goes off onto the mainstream job platforms. Something else is to follow someone like Mark Stewart. Just a small plug to his LinkedIn, because I see him posting a lot of jobs as well on LinkedIn. And most of them, some of them rather, are usually hidden ones or ones that are suitable for international students. So if Mark is still here and would like to plug his LinkedIn in the chat, that would be good so that people can follow him. Um, I think another question I've seen coming up is in terms of just general advice. If an international student were to come to you, Echo, and say, I want to get into marketing, or even if it's not marketing specifically, what advice can you give me? And maybe advice that someone wouldn't necessarily find on the internet, something that's not cliche. What would you tell someone in terms of just finding a job?
Just to understand the question a little bit better from my side. So it's like if one person wants to go to marketing, what kind of like thoughts I can give about finding a job in marketing? Is that correct?
Yeah, we can, because I've seen quite a few things coming up about marketing, but also make it applicable to people who are also not doing marketing.
Okay. Um, I think so when we want to go to marketing, I think things I learned through these years is like trying to have a structure in the beginning for anything that you want to achieve, and then break it down to small steps and to small sections. Understand each of them, and overall, then you will have a overall good understanding of something that you want to understand or you want to get into. So for marketing itself, if I were to break it down to a few sections, um, so it will be usually split it into two sections. So for example, the branding part of the marketing and also the performance part of the marketing. So for branding part of the marketing, it is very creative driven. It is very content driven, and it requires a lot of like cultural understanding as well for the market that you want to market for. So I decided I was in that role before, and I decided that it might not be very although I love it, I still feel that I'm a creative person. I still feel that I really love content. But at that time, I feel that in my environment in the UK, it's probably will make it harder for me to achieve a like the kind of the position I want to achieve in the future. For example, I couldn't imagine myself to run the content team, run the creative team, or run the overall branding team in the UK market setting. So I rule myself out from that path a little bit. So the second part of the marketing kind of like journey would be performance marketing, which can be split into further a few kind of like channels. For example, like paid search, for example, the advertisement in Google, paid social, and also affiliation, and also SEO as well, search engine optimization, and also a lot of other kind of small sections along them. And so overall, they are more require you have a data focused mind, or you have a like a kind of like good understanding about a different section or good structure mind. So that when you're dealing with this kind of channels, or when you work on this kind of channels, it's easier to get out of this kind of like content creative, but become more data driven. That is more kind of like universal language rather than English language itself. So that was at that time I break down of the choice, and I find out this path might be something that I want to go to. There are lots of details to talk about, but I think everything will be starting with understanding the concept of marketing and break it down to different kind of sections. And you can use AI to help you, like tell me something about marketing and let it break down for you. And each of this kind of section, you can deep research into it and then find something that you can start with. Or you want to be in the future, and then it will be your starting point, I would say.
Okay, thanks for that breakdown, Echo. I think, Gaurav, you mentioned wanting to speak a bit about your networking, how you did it, because this is something that is quite commonly known that you did really well. So, what advice can you give to people in terms of networking? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Ved. Yeah, networking. It is. This is one word which you will hear a lot in university throughout when you enter, and then throughout your student life and after also. First and foremost tip is to don't miss Mark Stewart's in-person event, because he is really good, really good. So if you see any in-person event Mark is conducting, I mean, and he conducts a lot throughout the year, always make sure you attend them, because I have attended, I think, almost all of his in-person events. So the hesitations which as an international student you have, like you are not a native speaker of English and all those things, you need visa, so would that be discriminatory? Or means all those things, he will, means when you go into his session, he will explain all those things, and in a way that make you feel confident about yourself. And even you can talk to him after the event if you get a chance to grab him. So he will also tell you how to introduce yourself to employers or to other people. So one of the good tip he gives is always make sure to attend career fairs. So that is your first starting point to just try networking. So start with the career fairs. I think university conducts at least 2 career fairs an academic year. So start from there. Uh, Frame questions. What do you know? What is your aim? What is your goal? What where you want to go? So that you can then ask them particular questions about the firm. Research the firm as well, which are coming there, whether they offer those roles or not. But Mark Stewart, like, make sure that you attend his sessions, because he will cover all those things in a much better way. And he's an expert. When he says something, it means that really means that is really a kind of fact. Uh, Next thing is networking. So started with the mark session, going to career fairs and everything. Start small and then go big. After that, there are a lot of networking sessions that are conducted by Career Service within the university as well, in partnership with Labs, because I know one session was conducted, which was a tech networking event with Business School and Career Service. So they have called many digital co-founders. So got to meet them, ask them questions also. Then, if you know, there is LIDA inside university, Leeds, I think Institute of Digital Analytics. They also conduct networking events. So because these are all the events which I filtered because of I want to go into technical and technology sector. So they also conduct events. So these are the options which are inside the university. Then move outside the university. So Leeds City Council, they conduct a very good program which is Tech Careers Launchpad. So they do it. I think they conduct 3 sessions in a year. That is also a very good way to network things, because there you will get HR people will come there and the hiring managers will be there. They will do presentations. You can directly talk to them about how this market works and what they are looking for in a candidate. Plus, when you go to these events, you have other like peers who are also looking for a job in the same situation. So you can talk to them and you can share your experiences, how what they found out, how things work, how the job market work. Uh, Moving on from there, outside university, Leeds City Council, then Leeds has a very good network of communities, and there are a few communities which I joined in platforms. The platform is a building next to train station, and many of the events are conducted there. There's one Leeds Data Science Society, and there are a couple more which I joined. And I think you can find them in my LinkedIn also, because I would put everything there on LinkedIn wherever I go. So those digital events, tech events, make sure you go there and you attend them. So my main motivation to go in these events was because I was doing a career switch. I didn't know anything about technology. I wanted to know what people talk in technology, how the things work, what are the roles, how things navigate. Obviously, you won't be able to talk to everyone, and you won't be able to know everything in one session. But try to keep it simple and concise. Uh, what I think is, even if you are able to talk to just one person uh, meaningfully, that solves the purpose of that one event. Because every person is at a different stage of maturity. You will have some people 30 means who have 20 years of experience there, and then you have some people which have 1 or 2 years of experience there. So chances of you connecting with those people in an event. So that's why I say, even if you get to talk to one person and have a meaningful conversation, that serves the purpose. Plus, as Faith said, follow people on LinkedIn as well. The kind of firms you are, search for the titles. So like if you like power, like I'm in a power app developer, search for the title, you will get people around in and around Leeds, and see if they are going to some events. So you can also go there. So that is one of the things which I did for the digital side things. Plus recruiting agencies, which I said. So I also made sure, like, because you want to know more and more information about how market works. So this I covered the digital space kind of things, how what they talk, what they want. Then I wanted to cover the like the job market in general, what is going on in the job market digital. So like I mentioned, there are so many recruiting agencies. I would just call them, the person who has posted that job on the job board, just directly call them or email them. Most of the time, that's my experience, they will come back to you. Because when you call them, it will reach to their reception, but 90% of the time they will call back you, because they are also interested in people. So just have a informal chat to them, that this is my experience, what do you think? So just 1 or 2 minutes of chat with them over a call, that will tell you a lot how job market works. So that's how I covered the technical side, how the things are working with the people actually working there, and then the job market side, who are recruiting for those digital roles. So these are the few areas or few strategies which I used for my networking skills. I mean, for my networking space, and Yeah. So, but again, I said there's no strict way how that can be structured, or there's no framework, and what will yield result, what won't, that's also not clear. But have this networking as one tool in your toolkit among all those things which you are doing. So that will definitely be helpful to you. Thanks. Echo, anything for you to add?
Yes, I would be happy to add one more point. So I think when I do networking, I always trying to be a little bit intentional. So when I say intentional, it's not about like just randomly and go as many as events and conference as much as possible. I think I usually find so I start with my the one point that I was very interested in. So when I was in University of Leeds, or like shortly after I graduated from University of Leeds, I always interested in tourism. So I one of my essays in University of Leeds is actually about tourism as well, which I thoroughly enjoy. And the lessons, the interactions with professor and classmates. So that interest lasts lifelong until now, and I still very interested in it. So I give myself a little bit project. So I research like about like for example, at that point like I'm particularly interested in heritage. So I researched about heritage regeneration, heritage hotel regeneration in the UK. UK has a vast source of like probably one of the most amazing country that's really, really good at this kind of culture regeneration and also historic regeneration. So you can find a lot of like hotels, buildings that regenerated 400 years ago, 1,000 years ago. So I did a lot of research on this. So I registered a lot of like events, conference, and even in the University of Leeds Career Center, there is one person attended Career Center. He has a talk, and I approached him and talk something about that I was interested in my research, and we become a bit of friends in the beginning, and he helped me a lot in understanding the UK kind of like a heritage regeneration environment. So I would say that like being intentional with a kind of like preparation, so that you can get something out from the conversation rather than just collecting the business cards, names, linking connections that later on you never have any meaningful kind of interaction with. This one, I really agree with Gaurav. I will prioritize the quality rather than the quantity. So I think in the beginning, my first marketing job is actually landed because of my network. I was doing photography for also like heritage building, especially when I was in London. There are lots. And there's one time I basically shared my photo with the Visit Britain, and one of the person working there later on introduced me to my first marketing job in a travel agency in London, and where I take care of this kind of like international marketing for basically um, uh, marketing UK as a destination for people to come here for authentic tourism. So that is a definitely I would say like intentional preparation for the network. I feel that I contributed to that network, contributed to that interaction, rather than just go to that events and collecting all the names and adding the connections in LinkedIn and never talk with them again. So I would say that this gave me a lot of like source. I would say that meaningful connection is really really something that's really I feel interested to continue with as well. It's not just trying to find a job. It's also it will generate a lot of very interesting discussion and for my own interest and for the life as well. And sometimes I just feel so excited when people have a conversation with me. I feel, oh, this conversation is really give me a lot of new perspectives, and I feel like very very happy just to take that one. Even sometimes like one like you attend 10 sessions or you attend 10 conferences, there is only one sentence or there is one perspective I can take away, I will still feel very excited about it because I was being intentional and I get something out of it, and it will be follow me for a very long time and inspire me for a very long time. So yeah, that's my thought. Thank you.
Okay, thanks both for those tips on networking. And I guess in the spirit of networking, if you feel comfortable sharing with the attendees your LinkedIn profiles, feel free to drop them in the chat so that if anyone would like to connect with you, they can do so. And I think that's all the time we have for questions today. To wrap up our session, I'd like to speak to you guys about two upcoming events that we have. One, which is What's Next After Graduation, where we'll be helping you create actionable steps that you can take towards finding a job on the 18th of February. And the second one is How to Use Social Media for Personal Branding on the 24th of February. So if you're interested in attending these events, you can book your place on My Career. And I guess as Gaurav and Echo have shared with us today, getting a job is all about putting yourself out there and attending events like this. So we'd really love to see you there. And then finally, I'd like to say thank you to Echo and Gara for taking the time to share their knowledge, their wisdom, and all their insights with us. And this has been very, very useful. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's taken the time to attend this webinar. We've loved having you here and answering all your questions. If you still have more questions that haven't been answered, or you just like to stay in touch with us, follow us on our social media pages. So we have Instagram, LinkedIn, and a blog on WordPress at Leeds Uni Careers as shown on the slide. And the last thing we'd ask of you is to fill in a survey, which Tom has put in the chat, just to let us know about, your thoughts of today's events, what went well, what you've enjoyed hearing, or what could have been better so that we can keep having more and more sessions like this. So thank you everyone for gracing us with your presence. See you all soon. And the recording will be up on our YouTube channel. So if you'd like to look back or share with someone, follow us on our YouTube channel at Leeds Alumni. Thank you and have a lovely evening.
Thanks, Faith.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.